This year, make it a point to be on point. Become obsessed with your body, mind, and soul. Understand that your time is finite on this earth, and in order to prolong it as much as you can, you really have to come to kind of a conclusion that you need to be obsessed and in love with your body. Besides your body, obviously, your mental health, your emotional health is extremely important. And I find that everyone kind of starts at the beginning of the year, and then like 3-4 months in, people give up, you start getting lazy. You don't want to do that meditation. You don't want to go and work out. But here's a trick. Basically, what you need to understand is you need to be obsessed with consistency. It needs to be besides one of your main priorities. It has to be encrypted in your brain that you will not be giving a second chance in this life. Once you're done, you're done. This is it. This is what you got. This is what you have to work with. So the minute you're going to realize that you're not going to wake up miraculously one morning and be in good physical health and good mental health and all of your problems are going to be solved, besides the fact that you need to learn how to live with your problems, you need to learn how to live with what you were given. And if you are not happy, you are not satisfied with where you are physically, emotionally, mentally, then this is your year. I do believe for us, it signifies that it's a fresh start, it's a new beginning, and it is better late than never. It all comes down to actually maintaining that obsession and not giving up, just like that, easily. I always go back and make a connection with my children. Think about your children. Whenever you see them, or your partner, or your friend, someone not being on point and kind of slacking and putting themselves last, don't you feel the need to tell them and kind of straighten them and maybe put them on the right track? I do that consistently when it comes to my children because I learned that this is all I get and this is my only opportunity to strive to be a better human. I will not be giving another life. Well, if you believe in the afterlife and the reincarnation, that's a different topic. But generally, you need to make the best of what you are given. And every time I look at my children and I'm telling them that you are blessed because you are young and this is the time to start taking care of yourself. Obviously, you can start when you're 40, you can start when you're 50. There's no right or wrong time. But for them, it's that much of a bigger of advantage because they are young. So every time I feel like I'm losing track of things, start to slack, I try to bring back that child within me and remind myself, yes, I am 40. Yes, maybe I am not as physically fit as I want to be or I used to be, but it's never late to start. And if I will not make it a point, make it a priority myself, no one's gonna come up and wake me up in the morning and tell me to go for a run. No one is going to tell me to take those 10 minutes a day and sit and meditate. No one is going to cook for me. No one is going to take care of me, of the child within me, better than myself. So once you start having those daily conversations with yourself, with the child within you, you will understand that the only person who's stopping you from becoming a better version of yourself, like a 2.0 version, it's yourself. And I have a video about this book after reading 4,000 Weeks and highlighting a bunch of things and finding inspiration and understanding that we are in reality are giving very little time, and what we do with it will either make us or break us. And this book makes an emphasis, which is another point, on how you should prioritize yourself, but not in a way you think. In a way, how you would pay yourself first. Don't ever pay yourself last. I understand everyone has bills and everyone has expenses, but generally the same kind of idea applies when it comes to you. Don't put yourself last. There's always going to be stuff to do. There's always going to be people to feed, laundry to do, and bathrooms to clean. And if you're always going to put those things first, your body and your mind is going to come to the conclusion that I can wait. My needs and my wants and my priorities can wait. I am not as important, which is a very wrong approach because you are important. You are your own priority and you should do everything that relates to yourself. Unless you have kids, then that's a different topic. You should prioritize them while they're little. not when they're growing up. But once you're done with them and they're off to school or off to daycare, don't start right away cleaning or cooking. And I'm talking from a mother's perspective, probably fathers too, especially stay-at-home fathers. Don't start doing everything else but yourself. Do what needs to get done when it comes to yourself. Whether it's a 10-minute meditation, whether it's a 15-minute stretch, it doesn't matter. Even if you offer yourself half an hour a day, you should be grateful and you should be happy that you actually did even 30 minutes of something a day. It doesn't need to be 2 to 3 hours. Become accountable to yourself. Ask yourself every day. At the end of the day, I usually do it just in front of the mirror when I do my night routine. Valentina, did you do everything you wanted to do today? Did you take care of yourself? Did you take care of your mind? Did you take care of your body? Did you do what you wanted to do for yourself besides doing everything for other people? And if you are like me and your love language is act of service, you feel the need to always service everyone, then why not service yourself? Another very important point in order to be consistent is shadow work. Do some work on yourself. Dig really deep down. Understand what are your priorities, what are your needs, what are you trying to achieve. Not necessarily career-wise. I know everyone is super career-oriented and you gotta struggle and you gotta hustle so much that we forget to put ourselves first and we put our careers and our dreams and aspirations first, as opposed to being grounded, being present and understanding that everything can wait. But in reality, none of this matters and none of this is going to matter if you are not obsessed with yourself first before being obsessed with your business, with your career, with everyone else. So, when there's no health, nothing else matters. Another key point, you need to really be adaptable and adapt to any situation you are put in. Even if you didn't get a chance to do something for yourself in the morning, make sure you find that time later on during the day before shit hits the fan and 1,000 things needs to get done. Visual reminders, really important. I do a lot of those sticky notes. I put them everywhere. Don't forget to do this or don't forget to do that. Make sure you meditate. Don't just do breathing. Make sure you go for a walk. Make it a point to say your name out loud. It will be like a person outside of you telling you what to do. I read in one of the books when I was doing my research on how to stay consistent and how to actually put yourself first as opposed to everything else. And one very important point was that you need to talk to yourself in the third person. So, Valentina, what do you want to do today? What do you want to accomplish today? How much time can you allocate to yourself? Always ask yourself these questions. When you have a clearer picture of how your day looks, you will know when you can allocate time for yourself. Practice self-compassion. Understand that consistency doesn't mean perfection. No one is perfect. I would assume that everyone is striving to become a better version of themselves by choosing a particular career or by chasing a dream. But all of the better version of yourself comes from within, from what you achieved and how much you did for yourself. And I know that this might come across slightly narcissistic, so be it. You can be slightly narcissistic when it comes to yourself because no one else will. No matter how much your partner loves you, no matter how much your parents love you, no matter how much your children love you, no one will ever take care of you the way you will. In general, make it a point to be consistent, and it's not easy, and I have a bunch of videos when it comes to that, and I did so much research because I see it's so easy to fall out of that consistency. You can be really good for 20 days. I picked up a habit of doing stairs. I live in a building, going up and down the stairs at least once a day. And I thought that habit is so strong and so good. I did it for like 3 weeks in a row. And then just all of a sudden I dropped it. And I could never understand why would I not go back to doing it, because I felt so good. And that kind of replaced my running routine because I felt kind of weird going and running in a city that I don't know, in a city that I just moved. I was looking for a run buddy and I couldn't find one. So I figured, stairs are much safer. I'm in my building, nothing can happen to me there. And I just dropped that habit so fast, and the minute I replaced it with going for walks. But still, it doesn't matter how long you sustain a habit, you can lose it very easily. That's why you need to constantly remind yourself and constantly keep track of your progress and actually talk to yourself. Okay, we dropped that habit, we need to replace it. Always make sure you do replacement of habits. Maybe you got tired, maybe you don't like it. Any habit can be replaced. That's another point. Make sure that you don't just drop a habit, that you replace it. So yes, being consistent is very challenging, and everyone has their own kind of an idea how to stay consistent. So many gurus, so many self-taught books, and you have to do this and you have to do that. But in reality, it all comes down on your priorities. That's why I keep going back to the slightly narcissistic obsession with yourself. If you actually love yourself, you will never let yourself fall off the tracks and actually maintain any habits you set up this year. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.